No, Delling.
Delling.
Yes. And it's just the same as all the other Viking ships. I want a quick look around. Because this is your first cruise this year.
This is my first cruise
How's
this year.
it gone?
And my first cruise right here on the Rhone River. All in all, I think, there are a few things a few kinks that have to be ironed out. A few lessons learned, that's always the case. Yeah. And, we always strive for perfection, we're not there. Yeah. But I think if this is our starting point, we'll do all right.
Good morning, mister. Yes, I think you get confused, no? With the... let me help you. Main city of a department. Inhabitants always had to pay taxes to maintain the walls. Both within the city. The Rhone company has been created. It's very high and refined stained glass windows. Still going on using Gothic. And for example, the portal in front of you, representing the Annunciation of the Virgin, was only achieved at the end of the 15th century. And so, but it can be expensive sometimes. Let's proceed now toward the Pope's Palace place. That the municipality decided to convert the rock into gardens. This is nowadays, I already noticed the golden statue of Mary. Old palace, just in comparison with the big Pope's Palace nearby. Enter now inside the old palace. Supporter of the popes called the Guelph and supporter of the emperor called the Ghibelline. These were a strong family of the aristocracy like the Colonna, the Caetani, and it was so dangerous to stay in Rome. So the popes were always nothing is remaining of the kitchen as it was originally. Apostle inside the niches. Unfortunately, this was damaged during the French Revolution. The French citizens, they didn't want any power representation anymore, so they cut down not only the people's head, but the statues too.
Inevitably, exit to the Pope's Palace was via the shop.
I had one of these for Donald, but it's too small, it wouldn't fit his head. It would improve his countenance.
Privatisation. Non, non, non. Service public.
What do you think to this morning's tour then, Ines?
Well, now that we're back in the nice and warm.
It's not bad.
No, we've had a lovely walk round in absolutely freezing cold, but we've had a lovely walk round Avignon.
And the Pope's Palace?
And the Pope's Palace.
Did you know it was there?
Well, I read a little bit about it before we came.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the bit. We didn't have such a sumptuous place.
No, it's really interesting.
Really good.
Very interesting, yeah.
And now when we've got warmed up and had a little bite to eat, where are we going?
We're going to have a look at the bridge, the half bridge. It's only half a bridge.
Pont where these little songs from the pont.
Nice summer holiday.
Blowing 1,000 outside. The Mistral.
Freezing cold, but lovely sunshine.
Et puis encore comme ça, sur le pont d'Avignon, on y danse sur le pont d'Avignon, on y danse tous en rond. Les belles dames font comme ça.
Friday,
Friday, second real day.
And we're in Rhone.
Well, near Hull.
we
We've got to go
travel-
by bus, I think, somewhere.
Yeah, we travelled to Hull last night, although we're not in Hull, we've got travelled by last night.
About 3 miles of cold.
It's too cold outside to do this video outside, so we're indoors. Still indoors.
We're doing our interview inside. And inside, outside.
Yeah, because we have a lot of bahia like in Spain. Careful again with the bolos. This is a square called the Voltaire Square. Times in the Roman times. Is it all right for you? Not too fast? Yes, here. No, the big square, and the bus will be here alongside the river. Yes. No, but in Nîmes we can still see the attic, which was the last level to put the vellum to protect the people from the sun. So now we try to conserve the original stones, not to change them, like in the 19th century. And after that they could come back to the free life, to the normal life, or to come back again 5 years more into the school. Some of them could become rich and famous, right seat. The people were seated according to the social rank, so higher. The entrance was free for everybody, much higher than it is today. It could welcome 10,000 people. Built also in the 17th century, and you can see the symbol of the King Louis XIV name. In French it is Hôtel de Ville. Yes, in Italy. And now have a look onto this beautiful roof. And you know who made this kind of work? No, it was Mansart, one of the best architects in the world in the 17th century. So I'm going to count you here, the painting. And now it is a cultural center, not anymore the hospital. So that's why we have restaurants and postcards, and also a university on the first level for students, and also the mediathèque, the library. This is a cafe he painted. Of course he exaggerated the yellow color because he was not so yellow, but it was his favorite color, that's why. And this hotel here is also famous because Picasso, another famous painter, came here often, and he was into...
What do you think to Hull then?
I think it's a really nice old city. They've kept its original state as much as they can, and all the characters there, I think it's lovely.
We'll tell you all about this town, and I look forward to seeing you back on board. All right? Have a wonderful morning.
Thank you very much.
And careful with this group. They're trouble.
Through Vivier, it's a little bit like walking back in time. The cathedral, in front of the doors, you can see steps. It's because the people in Vivier were always afraid of the water of the Rhone. Supporting arches enabled people to build upwards. Now we have in front of us a little covered bridge connecting two houses. In the Middle Ages, the customers didn't enter the shop. They stayed outside. The shopkeeper unhooked the shutter, laid it flat on these stones to make a counter on which he displayed his products. We call it here the House of the Knights because of these scenes. Albert was born in 1511. He became a very rich man. One side of the weather vane has the lily of France, and the other side the German eagle. Lily, it means we have south winds coming from the Mediterranean Sea, and we will get some rain. And a little farther you can see grey towers with something like smoke. They are the cooling towers of the nuclear power plant of Cathedral of Viviers inside Notre Dame of Paris. But I was right. 3 of them were given to Viviers by Napoleon III. One is missing because it's at the moment being cleaned. And here we have an interesting system of collecting rainwater. In the Middle Ages, almost each house here in the religious town had such a system of collecting rainwater.
We've just done a tour of this charming little village.
The old town built on a rock, and the cathedral at the top, so we climbed all the way up through these little medieval streets. Absolutely gorgeous and charming place.
And even the weather's turned nice. The wind seems to have disappeared, and we're getting that little bit of sun coming through a cloudy sky.
The sun feels warm.
We're back on the ship, having been to Verviers, and now we were offered a Bloody Mary as we came on the ship.
And it was a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, but it was the kick with it, the vodka. But it was free. Oh, we'd already paid for it, so we weren't going to refuse it.
And it was horrible.
I'm living in.
Oh yeah. So we're going up Inez.
Very slowly going up.
What's the speed? Yeah.
One of France's nuclear power stations.
Now, yeah. If you don't want to go walking with us, you can go on to the bus, yes. And we'll be back by 9:15. That's when we will be back. We'll be back here because we have to take the bus to go to the railway station. In the 12th century, an hermit came around here. He came back from his crusade and he decided to settle at the top of the hill, and he started, all the vineyards and all that. Yeah. Alors someone asked, this little town of Tournon for a long time was a very prosperous town because of a family, the dynasty of the Tournon family. This town extremely prosperous from the 10th century to the 17th century. There's no more Tournon. 19 children, yeah. They wanted to destroy it. But they didn't, actually. They did destroy the first one, never destroyed this one, because you know how the French can be whenever they're upset. They all went, they had big demonstration. The less trouble you get. And this kind of roof, you will see them in Burgundy. Door, made in 2 parts, and that dates back to the 15th century, and you can see the ceiling. This building was completely destroyed by the bombing, so they had to rebuild it after the war. That was meant to protect the family from the plague. And as I say, we had big trouble here in Tournon because the Ardèche was the seat of the Huguenots here. This is a St. Julian church dating back to the 14th century. I don't know how you would call this stone here, but it's a very fragile stone, very difficult to... Sandstone, yeah. So mulberry tree, and they have weaving factories along the River Doubs. So people used to come from Tournon, stop at the railway station over there, and go and work in.
Personally, I think me standing looking at the machinery again now. Yes. So there we are, smoking like mad with a coal-fired engine, polluting the atmosphere. blackening the skies.
Photography enthusiasts from.
I thought it would be an aqueduct.
Nowadays we don't have any Chrome anymore. Finished. Soon we're going to reach a tunnel that brings the water into the hydroelectric power station.
Excursion. Ride on a train.
Well, I like the walk through the Thames, but we had fares as much as the train actually. I thought that
As we're approaching a barrage now, did you go on the train this morning?
No, I did not. I
Did you
actually
not?
slept in.
Oh, you missed a delight.
Did we?
Did you? You didn't go
I
on
didn't
the
go
train?
either.
No, we went on.
Took the day off.
Oh, it was
Was it nice?
cold.
By the height, but at some point we don't have the technology to make it higher, so we stopped making high build left gate. Okay, the one on the left. Above it, you're going to see that above the door there is a circle, and in the circle you have a shape that is being repeated 6 times. Can you see it? This shape, you know, it's like the shape of the yin and yang. Okay, so far at the bottom, pointing on the very top. Can you see it? Huh? It's the shape of a flame in reality. Shape of a flame, and this is a pattern that was very often being used at the end of the Gothic times, 50s, 1954 precisely. Okay, why do we have such modern stained glass windows? One is the landing in Normandy, okay, 6th of June 1944, and one of the goals of the second landing was to slow down the panzer divisions. And to slow them down correctly, the Allies had to destroy all the bridges on the Rhone River. They did a great job, really good, or completely destroyed. Okay, but sometimes, you know, when we are launching a bomb, it doesn't always reach the goal. Of course, some lost bombs that really damaged the cathedral itself, but actually damaged the building is in front of us. This is where you have these people that are vacuuming. This part over there, this is the 12th century part. Of course, you can guess the river we have in front of us. This is the Rhone River. Of course it is. You have the modern, so big owner in reality. Down the castle we have vineyards. The only one that is remaining. The end of the pavement, okay, not the farms, which is the heart of the Roman city, and when used to be the place for the hospital. So they had to find a place where to worship. In front of us you have
Suddenly, when we rounded a corner, there was a Roman temple.
Standing temples. Temples that are still standing, no. Only these two are the ones from the 1st century. Okay, the ones you have here. The Lord of Vienne is supposed to be well advised. Friday the 13th. Exactly. And he cursed the king and the pope. By the end of the year, you would die. And this is exactly what happened.
And isn't that why they say Friday the 13th is bad luck?
Exactly, it is coming from that. It's a cursed day.
Yeah, we've just arrived in Lyon. And on our penultimate day, the final stop. We leave tomorrow, but today we've got to walk around the city.
No, we don't leave till Wednesday. It's Monday today.
Is it? Oh, we've got another day then.
Well, 2 more mornings of sheer luxury. Being fed and waiting on hand and foot.
In Château de Varennes, we drive again a little bit through the Beaujolais, and we make our second stop in Beaujeu. Beaujeu is the historical capital of Beaujolais. I mentioned that to people living in Marseille. But the Beaujolais is already part of the south of France. In Château de Varennes,
Your wife stopped worrying about you. She knows you'll turn up.
Are you looking forward to your wine tasting?
Yep. It must be about 10 hours since I've had any wine now. It's producing the Beaujolais wine anyway. It looks enormous, and we're about to have a tour and a good walk round and see what it's all about. Yeah. I'm looking forward to having some more wine. And then we go inside probably to see how it's made.
Really in the heart of Beaujolais, in the area of production of Beaujolais village. So this is an area where wines were already made in the 11th and 12th century. The Charveria family bought it in 1809. So they have nothing to do with the family who was here originally in the 12th century or with the family who was here in the Revolution. Family residence for the holidays, for the weekend. And one part of the chateau can also be rented to organize receptions. They bring the grapes in those vats. They are made of cement. Light. So to obtain the red color, we need to have this maceration of the skin and of the juice together. And in the Beaujolais, we also keep the stem. This is one of the particularity of this region. We keep, especially with the use of wooden tools.
You probably wouldn't know, but this is probably not where Lucy stopped the grapes when she came to Italy.
Yeah. But
So,
you still have chateaux belonging to very old
going to buy a bottle or two?
families who were not killed during the Revolution, simply because. Just a few more words about Beaujolais and Burgundy. So, on a historical point of view, there are really two different entities. The wines are quite different too. We use Gamay in the Beaujolais to make the red. They use Pinot Noir in Burgundy to make the red. Well, Chardonnay is the same for the wine. And so that's the French government that started to classify the vineyards of France in the 1930s, and they decided to gather Beaujolais and Burgundy. So if I pay attention to the color of my wine, I would say that this is a white wine. I hope you all agree.
They seem to be going there. You could always try the Office de Tourism. I'll join you there. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Are you ready for going back now?
Just about, yeah. I've just about
Had enough.
Hey. Just been approached by some nice young schoolgirls, just near the statue there of Louis XIV, believe it or not. She spoke to me in French, obviously wanting to know something, whatever, and was much surprised when I said, well, I don't understand you, dear, but I know you're from England. And then her mates joined me, and apparently they're on a school visit, enjoying themselves in France. I tried to learn a bit of the language.
So
Thank you.
So they had a fit of giggles.
And they did have a fit of giggles, yeah. Now we're on the Saône. It joins the Rhone just round the corner there. Back on the Rhone, and oh look, there's our boat. Well, one like it. A rare sight, some daffodils. Coming towards the end of our tour, we're actually in Lyon at this stage.
Which is the last stop.
Tuesday we're having we're having the tour, official tour around the town, and then on Wednesday we disembark. We're going to do on Wednesday morning, I don't know, we'll find something. I'm
sure we can find plenty to do.
And what is your opinion of this splendid voyage we've done?
I think it's one to be recommended. I think it's a lovely trip. Lots of lovely stops. In our case, I think we probably came a little bit too early.
Yeah, definitely a
Because
week or
the
two too
weather,
early.
it's even today it feels cool and wintry.
It's
But
not too bad.
another time, you know, the sun was shining a bit more.
It would improve it immensely.
It would be gorgeous because
So-
it's a lovely trip. Really nice stops all the way.
The object was to...
And being on the boat is sheer luxury, so.
In between, that's what we call the peninsula, 4 kilometers long, 400 meters large, about, and that's where is the main center. And we're going to finish the morning by a nice stop along the Saltpeter.
There's no remains of the Roman Forum, which was exactly here. Still, we are at the westernmost point of a city here, and the highest point. So here, if you had the terrible reputation for the ladies, we're going to have a look inside the gold, 19th century. That's the time of a symbolism. We could spend 5 hours. The most impressive are these huge panels of mosaics on both sides. The oldest Christian community in France, as we already had a bishop, with the gold city. Except since then we've been making extensive excavations, and we know ours was not that big. Easy to read because each different neighborhood flower skirts, but having a very good income.
I did notice several confession boxes. I thought you might like to pop in one and give me your confession.
I was thinking about pushing you in one of those, but.
I don't know, I think the church may collapse if they get my full confession. Wonderful view this morning, Ines. Could hardly see anything, can you? Just make out the river.
This would have looked tremendous on a fine day, wouldn't it?
I was going to take Ines's confession, but she said it may bring the church down.
Painted walls all over the city, and this company, they work everywhere in the world now to discover new territories in the West. Well, strong mustard sauce. If you're not that French yet, don't worry. Let's go see the big side of a wall, and you're going to see that we need to take a bit of no window on such a big wall. Well, that's because in the 1960s there was a gas station, right? Two brothers Lumiere invented cinematography in our city in 1895. Carefully.
It's a painted wall.
16th century, very often the King of France is living in our city. Behind every of these doors, there's an alley leading to a courtyard. You see these courtyards? We're going to have to push doors. Second World War. Local people knew about them, but not the Germans. 16th century, we're going to continue, and I'm going to explain you the rest outside. Would be a shop on the ground floor facing the street. Then he would live on the first floor overlooking the street, the best apartment.
Yes.
It's all lovely. I just like France.
Shoemaker, genuine shoemakers making specialist shoes.
It's the same. And I deliberately didn't have a cake.
So regarding water, whenever we dock, you're going to find that we take water from shore. And regarding fuel, we do that every 2 weeks. The ship has a very, very large fuel deposit, fuel tank. So yes, it is. These are the engines are diesel, but generates electricity. The ship is actually running on electricity.
We have had certainly our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, the team here has done exceptionally well to give you a great vacation at the end of this cruise as well. 13 nationalities here on board. When Michael did start, he said we had 13 nationalities. And when you look around, you can see we all get along. Maybe this is something we should teach our world leaders, don't you agree?
So, I'm not employed by Viking, but these were so good that here we are on a third.
Yeah, I think we were the same, yes. And how do you feel this compares with the other two?
It's slightly different.
It is.
But it's opened my eyes to what southern France is really about.
Right.
It's very different, but I've enjoyed it just as much, but in a different way.
True, true.
But The staff have been absolutely tremendous.
Oh yes, you can't fault the staff at all. Can you?
They attend to our every need so quietly and efficiently.
They do indeed.
Yes.
They're really, really good. And so it's really your first visit to southern France?
I've never been to France. My son's a bit of a Francophile. He loves France.
Yeah.
So that's why I was rather tempted to go on this cruise.
Yeah.
Yes, and find out about wine growing.
So you're becoming a guide, especially for the wine.
Yes. And I now know how to drink wine. To get the full value of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and of course the full value is only gained by actually consuming it all.
That's right.
Which shocked me at the wine tasting when some actually threw it away.
Well, and I must admit that you and Inez have been a great source of entertainment to me. Because I keep bumping into her and she's lost you again.
Oh, I'm afraid that goes on endlessly. Yeah.
But also I would have to say the beauty of being on a river cruise is that you can sit down beside anyone and have an interesting conversation.
Yes, now, normally.
Yeah, over 50% of the people here are American.
Yeah, they are.
And people are very critical of Americans, but I've found every one of them absolutely charming.
No problem.
Final day in Lyon, we depart this afternoon. Just thought we'd have a nice walk. We're standing in front of the flower vase that was put there a few years ago for a festival.
On our last day, we don't actually leave until 3:45. All the Americans have gone, so it's just us left, isn't there?
Yeah.
But the new crowd are arriving. So there's a load that came earlier this morning, but I think they must have come direct from America because they all seem to have gone to bed.
We haven't seen much sun, but when it comes out, it's just for a short time, then it's disappeared again.
Although,
but it's nice.
From the look of the clouds, the sun's going to stay out for the rest of the day.